You ever have one of those mornings where everything feels like it's teetering on the edge of something huge, like the whole damn world is holding its breath just for you? That's how it hit me that gray Seattle dawn. Clock ticking down to a job interview that could have yanked me and my boy Liam out of the scrape we'd been scraping by in for years. I was Jack Harlan, 38, single dad to a 7-year-old wizard with cardboard robots, still choking down the grief from losing Mia 3 years back in that freak car wreck that left us with bills taller than the Space Needle. I remember shuffling through our cramped Capitol Hill walk-up at 5 a.m., the floorboards creaking like they were whispering warnings, firing up the ancient coffee pot, while the city outside hummed with that pre-rush hour quiet. Liam was crashed out in his room, that lopsided bot he'd MacGyvered from cereal boxes and twist ties staring at me from the nightstand like a tiny guardian. I glued its wobbly arm back on, gentle as if it were his heart. Cause hell. In our world, broken things were all we knew how to fix. My gig at that mid-tier engineering outfit? Steady as a leaky faucet, 3 years of tweaking HVAC systems for folks who treated me like yesterday's blueprint. Paychecks stretched thin over rent, Liam's school fees, and those ghost bills from Mia's hospital stay that'd haunt us till we were old. But today? Today was the finals at Apex Dynamics, Seattle's engineering Goliath, the kind of spot that'd triple my salary, let Liam dream bigger than Ramen Fridays. I'd clawed through 2 brutal interview rounds, out of 200 hungry souls, prepping nights after tucking him in, memorizing their green tech projects like scripture. This was it, me shot to stop being the guy who made it work and start being the dad who made it rain stability. Liam padded in at 6:30, hair like a bird's nest, eyes all sleepy fire, and I slid him eggs and toast, the good kind with the crusts cut off like Mia used to. "Big day, Dad," he mumbled, that hopeful lilt twisting my gut. I ruffled his mop, forcing a grin past the knot in my throat. "Yeah, kiddo. If I nail this, we're talking arcade nights, maybe even that drone kit you've been eyeing." His face lit up, pure rocket fuel, and damn if it didn't make me vow right there I'd drag us through fire for that smile. Dropped him at school with a hug that lingered too long, his little voice echoing, "You're the smartest fixer ever, Dad." And I watched him vanish through those double doors. Check my watch, 7:45. Light rail downtown, 2 blocks to Apex Tower, interview at 9:30. Piece of cake, right? Or so I thought as I crammed onto the packed car, portfolio clutched like a lifeline, flipping through my designs, the ones that'd shave costs at my firm, picturing Liam's face when I told him we were upgrading from getting by to getting ahead. Pioneer Square Station at 9:15, 15 minutes to glory, the Apex spire gleaming like a promise through the drizzle. I stepped off, nerves buzzing, and then bamfed the ground just. Decided it was done playing nice. At first, it was a rumble, like the train's ghost shaking loose. But nah, this was bigger, Minera 5.9 shaker, they'd call it later, the worst Seattle thrown since '05. Platform buckled under my boots, screams ripping through the air, lights swinging wild like drunk pendulums, glass exploding somewhere distant in a shatter that echoed like a gut punch. I grabbed a pillar, portfolio spilling sketches across the trembling concrete, heart slamming as the world tried to swallow itself whole. It quit as quick as it started, leaving that hollow hush, sirens wailing faint, folks yelling for kin. Adrenaline had my hands jittering. Watch screaming 9:20 minutes to haul ass upstairs. The tower stood, a block away. I could sprint, salvage this. But then, cutting through the chaos like a Nifia whisper, raw and ragged. "Help! God, somebody help!" From the alley wedged between a falafel joint and a brick relic, barely audible over the settling dust. My brain yelled, "Run, idiot, 6 months down the drain if you don't." But my feet? They betrayed me, veering toward that voice before pride could reel him back. There she was, half buried behind a tipped dumpster, a slab of facade concrete pinning her like a cruel anchor Sophia, though I wouldn't know her name for weeks. Mid-30s, sharp blazer now dusted gray, blood trickling from a forehead split, her left leg twisted wrong under 200 pounds of rubble, eyes locking on mine through the haze, wide with that animal terror that strips you bare. "Please," she gasped, voice cracking like dry leaves. I can't feel it anymore." Dropped the portfolio's crew the drawings and knelt, engineer mode kicking in despite the panic clawing my chest. Arterial bleed. Bad fracture. She had minutes if shock hit. Hey, easy, I said, voice steady as I could fake it, though my pulse was a freight train. I'm Jack. I've got you. Breathe with me, okay? You're gonna walk out of this. Her gaze clung to my face like I was the last rope in a free fall, and in that split-second stare down with the universe, everything blurred. Noah's breakfast grin, the interview suit creasing in the dirt, the salary bump evaporating. Job or her? Ambition or this stranger's fading spark? 6 months of grind versus 5 minutes of life. I yanked out my phone, dialed 911. Operator swamped. Ambulances crawling through gridlock. Can you stabilize, sir? Stay if you can. Watch hit 925. Liam's face flashed, our shoebox apartment, the what if of missing this shot forever. But her eyes, they pinned me harder than that slab. I'm here, I told the line, no waiver. Walk me through it. Tie off me one good Navy number tourniquet above the gash, her sharp cry twisting me inside out, but I murmured, breathe, Sophia. Wait, what's your name? Sophia, she whimpered, fading in and out. Levers from alley scrap wood, inching the concrete up, sweat stinging as I freed her leg, jacket balled under her head, shirt ripped for bandages. Time bled 9:40. Panel probably tapping watches 14 floors up. 9:50. Her pulse thready under my fingers. Stay with me. I coaxed, thumb on her wrist like a metronome, thinking of me as last breath in that sterile room, how I'd trade every blueprint for one more I got you. Sirens finally howled close, paramedics swarming at 9:55, loading her efficient as clockwork. Damn fine work. Man, you bought her time. One grunted, and Sophia's lids fluttered, her bloody hand squeezing mine faint. Thank you. Lips shaping silent, eyes etching me in like a vow. Doors slammed, taillights swallowed her into the frenzy, leaving me knee-deep in alley grime, suit trashed, hands caked in her fight. Staggered to apex anyway. Lobby, a madhouse. Evacuations, guards barking orders. Receptionist barely glanced, phone glued to her ear. Interview? Cancelled, Quake protocol. Email on rescheduling. When I pressed, voice raw. She shrugged, building checks first out, please. Numb nod, and I bolted, collapsing on a damp bench blocks away, the email pinging like a death knell an hour later. Dear Mr. Harlan, interviews suspended indefinitely. No reschedules at this time. Best, Apex Dynamics. Indefinitely. They'd slotted someone else, probably that slick Ivy type from round 2, the one with the firm handshake and zero soul. Sat there till the shakes ebbed, replaying it all. Liam waiting for Hero Dad, our fridge mocking empty, the grind looping eternal. But her eyes, they whispered back, you chose right, even as regret gnawed like bad coffee. Good man or fool. For Liam's sake, I'd swallow fool every time. Weeks blurred back to the firm, dodging pity glances from co-workers who'd heard the Quake buzz, biting my tongue on the lost shot. Kept it from Liam, no point dimming his spark. Then, 3 weeks post-hell, I'm hunkered at a Fremont hole-in-the-wall cafe, nursing black drip over schematics during lunch, when she slides into the next booth. Sophia, healed scar faint on her brow, cane-propped limp, but alive, polished in a wool coat that screamed boardrooms. Heart stuttered. I'd replayed that alley 100 nights, wondering if she'd pulled through, never dreaming fate's got a